depth and increased health compared to last year has played a big factor, and I like how both these teams are getting after it defensively.
There really are quite a few similarities between these two programs right now, and that starts at the top. Nell Fortner, Courtney Banghart, both in their 6 years respectively, heading up their programs. And Nell Fortner has been open about saying this could be Courtney Banghart's best North Carolina team. And look, this Georgia Tech team, 10-0, they're looking pretty good so far too. Tar Heels starting off with the basketball, their only loss on the season coming against number 2 UConn back in November. They've won 7 in a row since that time. India Navarre to Usby. Usby number 1 once again for this Tar Heel team. Lexi Donarski easy to get to the basket.
Oh wow, Renata Kelly getting in the passing lane right away.
Told you both these teams are going to bring it defensively. Donarski lines up a 3.
Lexi Donarski 5, Georgia Tech 0 to start the game.
Quick start for the Tar Heels as we welcome you to Carmichael Arena. Number 14, North Carolina hosting number 25, Georgia Tech. The Yellow Jackets, the ACC's only unbeaten team at 10-0 at the moment, but on the road to open ACC play. Jen Hild with Kelly Gramlich courtside for the call. Donarski has all 5 of the Tar Heels' points so far. Maria Gakdang on the inside, off the glass is good.
What a start for North Carolina. They're applying pressure. They're being aggressive offensively. They look like the team with the more energy and ready to go so far in this matchup.
See the starting 5 for the Yellow Jackets. Tonie Morgan, Kara Dunn, 2 names you definitely know, but a lot of veterans on this Georgia Tech team, and especially in the starting 5 as Dunn commits the travel.
Feels like a new energy defensively for the Tar Heels.
Top 2 scoring defenses in the ACC in these 2 teams, with North Carolina leading the way, ranking 6th in the country in that category. Holding teams to under 50 a game. What a finish for the first points for the Jackets and Tonie Morgan.
Fly high, Tonie Morgan in transition. A junior for Georgia Tech, has had a great first 2 years for the Yellow Jackets, trying to take that next step in year 3.
This Usby, India Navarre, Gakdang on the inside. Renata Kelly running the show, and Lexi Donarski the starting 5 for the Tar Heels. Gakdang going to work with the left this time. Morgan. Usby applying the defense, and now the shot block from Gakdang as Zoe Smith, the Georgia transfer, got denied. Navarre.
It's a really good job by Alyssa Usby leading the break, finding her open teammate, but how about Zoe Smith, the Georgia transfer you mentioned earlier, Jen? She has a great body. She's going to be matched up defensively with Usby for a lot of the night.
And you can bet that is one of those clips that Courtney Banghart's going to look at. Not going to be pleased with her team getting beat down the floor in transition. Dunn just gets hammered. I think Navarre got herself stuck up in the air and had nowhere to go.
Playing together for another year and just having that ability to find each other in those situations.
Morgan is fouled.
Going to finish way higher than where they were picked in the ACC at 10th, Jen. They're looking that way.
Starting their ACC play on the road at a ranked North Carolina team. Going to learn a lot about both these teams in this matchup today. Georgia Tech has cut it to 3 now. Donarski to Kelly. Yes!
His defensive resurgence as well.
Foul as Morgan drives off the inbound.
Morgan, also a solid frame. She can finish through contact. Off to a great start. Dani Carnegie, the young freshman, in for Georgia Tech, getting her hands on that basketball.
Both teams feel really confident in what they can bring off the bench in this game.
I was pretty surprised to see this happen, Jen, but you can already sense the excitement around it. Everyone's talking about it when we got here, and of course, you win in football, it trickles down, it helps everything else. So excited to see how this turns out for the Tar Heels.
Chapel Bill.
Chapel Bill.
Beginning. 6 of those Super Bowl rings as a head coach, by the way. The other 2 as an assistant. And Georgia Tech goes to work again, this time through their freshmen.
And you'll notice the freshmen who make the biggest impact are freshmen that don't allow this increased speed of the college game to speed them up.
Freshman out of Mount Vernon, New York, but went to high school her senior year in Georgia, Grayson High School, and Nell Fortner not messing around with her Georgia recruiting in state. This freshman class, a great indicator of that. Foul on this end. Brianna Crisp, the transfer from Arizona State, on the free throw line for North Carolina.
North Carolina, if you had to pick, I would say they have more depth.
Morgan. Crowd wanted to travel instead. It's a three and a beauty from Carnegie.
My goodness, what a shot from Dani Carnegie. To be a true freshman and take that shot from the coast of the UNC logo.
First lead for the Jackets, and they add to it. She is something special. She's shown that early this season for Georgia Tech. 3-point Yellow Jacket lead, Gakdang. That was going to be a really tough finish where she was on the floor.
By the way, Nell Fortner in a defensive stance in the corner of the floor playing defense with her team. Unbelievable. And to take that with 18 seconds left on the shot clock. But that just shows what Georgia Tech is doing this season. They're playing quicker. They want to shoot the ball quicker. And they're taking way more threes. They rank first in the ACC in three-point attempts per game and makes per game.
Well, Carnegie got her own rebound and then gets it inside. A wide open look for the senior Kayla Blackshear. Do they need a little Alyssa Usby to get going? No points yet for Usby, leading scorer and rebounder for the Tar Heels, which is one of their last 8 from the floor. Usby for 3. Not on target.
And that's what you want to do if you're Georgia Tech. You want to force Usby to be an outside shooter, keep her away from the rim.
An acrobatic finish from Dunn. Took some contact on the way in. Has her first points. All ACC selection last year for the Jackets. The run now 9-0 for Georgia Tech. Donarski, just what the doctor ordered.
North Carolina needed that.
Carnegie, big reason for that. That's a shorter look, but Georgia Tech has taken the lead. Donarski trying to cut into that from the logo, left it short. There's Chitchat-Wright, freshman from Atlanta. Offensive rebound to the Jackets. Blackshear pulled it down, sets up Carnegie. Blackshear is working the glass right now. The fact that she is coming off the bench this year, starter the last couple of years for the Yellow Jackets, has asked her to play right now. And clearly, she is bringing some value off the bench.
And Chitchat-Wright has been getting after it defensively, guarding the UNC point guard.
6 on the shot clock. Donarski in the corner. Carnegie defending. No shot to be had except for that pass, I think. Dunn! Oh my! There is a foul.
Another quarter will be reviewed for the amount of time that we will put on the clock.
How much time was left? Yeah, I mean, she got that shot off. So if they're calling a foul, which I can see some contact, then UNC started on a 7-0 run. So Georgia Tech on a 25-10 run in this first quarter. Now 26.
We're 6 for 6 from the line so far in this first quarter. But what a finish for Georgia Tech after a tough start on the road. They end the quarter on a 20-5 run and lead it here in Chapel Hill. Second quarter getting underway from Carmichael Arena in Chapel Hill. Georgia Tech, Kelly, we were talking during the break, looked good in that first quarter.
They looked great. They've been physical. They've been fast, getting out and running. They've taken good shots. I'm impressed with how they've dealt with the UNC bigs. They've done a great job defensively on Usby. Gakdang hurt them early, but Georgia Tech adjusted. So heck of a start for the Yellow Jackets.
What adjustments do you think North Carolina's looking for?
North Carolina was playing some zone on that previous possession. Georgia Tech's been hurting them in the paint. They've only hit 1 3. So I expect UNC to sprinkle in some zone. And just right there, Usby's got to stop forcing it. She's got to look for others and let her shot come to her.
And Georgia Tech is coming at you fast on the break.
They are getting out and running. The second they get a turnover, they are off to the races. Whether it's Dunn or Zoe Smith, they are not letting Usby get free. But Donarski has been the key for North Carolina. She is keeping the Tar Heels in this game. 3 for 3 from beyond the arc for the sharpshooter.
Wondered how much a three-point shot would play into it for both of these teams. It hasn't really been much of a factor yet for Georgia Tech.
So we're seeing this 1-2-2 zone from North Carolina. They worked on it today in shoot-around, and Coach Banghart said they're going to go to it if Georgia Tech was hurting them inside. Well, Georgia Tech's hurting them inside, and now the Yellow Jackets hit a three. Making threes is how you bust a zone.
Oh, come on, I know you're loving this, making threes. Both of these teams love to let their defense drive their offense, and Kara Dunn hits another triple, her second of this quarter. She has 9 in the game.
When you switch to a zone and the other team hits back-to-back threes on you, it is so demoralizing. What a start from Georgia Tech, and then North Carolina, it's raining threes in this second quarter, Jim.
It sure is. It's back-to-back triples for Renaya Kelly and North Carolina. But you can't trade threes when you're trailing in the game. Gakdang pulls down the rebound. That is an area that Georgia Tech just dominated in the first quarter. Got after it on the glass. That shot was blocked.
With Georgia Tech, one of the many differences between them last year, they didn't make the tournament last year, and this year, is everyone who takes the floor for Georgia Tech this year can shoot the three. So you have to respect the three ball from virtually every Yellow Jacket.
It is the Renaya Kelly show for North Carolina.
The crowd coming alive for UNC, and the Tar Heels sticking in that zone.
I was going to say, if that one went in off the top of the backboard, you know you're living right. Good pass off.
And hurting UNC on the glass. Georgia Tech getting a big offensive rebound there.
13-5 rebounding advantage in the first quarter for the Jackets. Yes, even here in Chapel Hill, you have to be well aware of who Cooper Flagg is. Phenomenal freshman for the Blue Devils. I mentioned it, that everybody on this Georgia Tech team can shoot the three. Nell Fortner said she's never had that before. 6 in the country, 4 on the shot clock now. Tar Heels need a basket. Usby can't finish.
Those are the types of defensive possessions that warm Nell Fortner's heart. That was a great defensive possession by the Yellow Jackets.
Morgan, putting the spin move on.
Tonie Morgan, I love the steps she took in her game last year.
Meanwhile, on this end, Alyssa Usby 0 for 5 from the floor for North Carolina. Navarre, that's good. Going to the bench in Morgan. Here is Chip Chatwright, #1, taking over the point guard position. Carnegie just keeps lighting them up. Sizable deficit now for North Carolina at 14 here in the first half. Team that's won their last 7, their only loss on the season, coming in second-ranked UConn. Maybe a little more of that would help.
Great move by Maria Gakdang. Excellent job getting deep position inside where she just needed one dribble to get to the rim and score.
6 points in the game for Gakdang. Right winds up the 3. Offensive rebound to Carnegie for a bonus 2 and maybe one more.
And now a chance. Of course she's going to convert the three-point play, Jen.
On the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Kelly, you're going to somehow make yourself in 2 places there?
Gakdang, she has an advantage down there.
Can't finish on the three-point play. Not many three-point attempts, or free throw attempts, excuse me, in this first half. The Heels just 2 of 3 from the stripe. Georgia Tech with 47 points. North Carolina on the season allows teams 49.5.
That was such a good set, especially when you look at the opponent. North Carolina is the 14th ranked team in the country, and Georgia Tech just put 50 on them in the first half.
So let's see how North Carolina comes out on a 7-game winning streak. Their only loss on the season against #2 UConn. How will they respond in their ACC opener? can see what priority number 1 was.
But they went right at Termes, the young sophomore for Georgia Tech. That's now her 3rd foul. And Georgia Tech going to have to guard Gokdang with a smaller lineup.
And Morgan back out there for Georgia Tech.
Jen, that's amazing.
Yeah, didn't have any weight on that leg as she went off the floor.
Just as a basketball fan, I'm so glad. And obviously every Georgia Tech fan is happy to see her out there looking fine.
Blackshear getting the start in the second half for Georgia Tech, makes it count.
Great hustle play by Zoe Smith. She's a glue player for this team. She's a do-it-all inside. She's going to guard well, guarding Usby. Great so far in this game.
North Carolina saying, make you defend. Laredo had to reach to keep that possession. Usby leading the break for North Carolina. Donarski knocked down a couple of big threes in the first half. Navarre driving, gets all the way. Open look as she crosses over. And who was generating the contact? Tonie Morgan doesn't care. 16 now for the junior from Tallahassee.
And I think there's a little bit of a wrap on her left knee, but beyond that, she looks completely fine.
Navarre starting to heat up. 5th-year transfer, spent her first 4 years at the University of Georgia.
And look, they're going at that matchup. They wanted to go to Navarre because Navarre has the 4 fouls. And Kara Dunn, even though that's what the play was for, she didn't force it, found the open teammate.
For North Carolina, it has felt forced at times in their offense, but I think primarily for Georgia Tech, they have flowed within what the game has given them. Smith back-to-back. Donarski swings it around to Kelly in the corner. Usby, offensive rebound. Donarski, no. Kelly, another offensive rebound. Boy, the Tar Heels earn those points.
What a rebound by Renaya Kelly. I mean, she came out of nowhere, but here's the difference in the game. Georgia Tech has been able to find points in transition. They're pushing the pace. They're getting out in the open floor.
And the other surprise here is the other side of things. North Carolina, I think most would have expected to look a little better than they have right now, not altogether yet today.
And I think part of it, too, is that Georgia Tech has played really well. Now, Georgia Tech is good, but they're shooting 54% from the floor. They've made 6 threes. They're playing great, but overall, North Carolina defensively, I think what's showing is some of their lack of size. You have Gokdang, but beyond that, these are some smaller guards. You look out there right now for UNC, and some of these bigger wings are taking advantage of that for Georgia Tech.
And the rebounds continue to be heavily in Georgia Tech's favor.
Absolutely. 2 ACC teams in the college football playoff. That's good for everyone involved, SMU and Clemson. And we will be watching America's team as they travel to the great city of Austin, Texas to take on Texas. I'll be attending the game, Jen. I'm very excited.
Pick your right shade of orange, Kelly.
Oh, there's only one right shade of orange. with a little purple accent,
right. All right. Carnegie, this freshman is good. The largest lead of any team this season against North Carolina. It's the biggest deficit they've faced since they were down 21 to UConn.
Wow. And this is a UNC team that's had a great non-conference. They beat Indiana. They blew out Kentucky, a top 20 Kentucky team.
That is a blocking foul. Usby had no time, so that'll put the Tar Heels on the line. Goodness gracious, if this is the place they're going to try to come back to 329th in terms of free throw percentage. Not at all, obviously, where at all, but it was deemed to be an intentional foul, so upgraded to an intentional foul on Blackshear.
A lot of that is because of their post players. One of the, as Donarski misses that one, and if they can be 70-80% free throw shooters, then you can really take advantage.
Georgia Tech flexing in every way right now. And North Carolina had some success starting this quarter, Kelly, going inside to Gokdang, not so this time. And an excellent free throw shooter, by the way. Laredo, oh, good look. Blackshear, the extra pass for the Jackets paying off.
Just a smooth and smart play from Laredo to make that pass. Elevated, thought she was going to shoot, but had enough time to dish it off.
18 assists, number 1 amongst ACC teams in terms of assists per game, assist to turnover ratio. Blackshear committing her third. They expected a really talented Georgia Tech team, no doubt about that, but I think they expected a much better performance from themselves based on what they've been able to do so far this season.
What a rebound by Zoe Smith. That's the role that she can really excel on in this team. Grabbing those rebounds, giving you some of those blue plays.
6th rebound for Smith to keep this possession alive. Dunn tried to shoot over Usby, not happening. But Georgia Tech still in command in Carmichael.
That's such a weapon for a head coach to have when you can bring a player like Carnegie, a potential ACC Freshman of the Year, off the bench and have that second punch from your second five.
That was some kind of an intense first step from Zoe Smith. Just didn't have the finish with her left. There's Townsend in, looking inside to Gakdang, off the glass and in.
And open looks since those first couple she got in the first quarter.
5 on the shot clock, no problem for number 5, Morgan. Flies and floats for 2 more.
For those just joining us, Tonie Morgan left the game in the second quarter with an apparent knee injury, was not putting pressure on it, and now just flew through the air to lay it in. She seems fine. It's unbelievable.
Lainey Grant with a drive to the basket for her first points. To get a basket, even from the free throw line, she's 0 for 2, and she's 0 for 7 from the floor.
Able to knock them down. Coach Reinhardt said they spent all off season working on her jumper, and it's looked good so far this year, but we haven't seen it today. She shoots it more and is more confident in her jumper. That will free things up for Gakdang.
Back-to-back turnovers for the Yellow Jackets. This is how North Carolina can get back into it. Usby 0 for 2 at the line. Now has her first point. That's a better trip.
You just can't afford to pick up that foul that late in the shot clock when you're trying to mount the comeback.
Morgan lost it. Townsend lightning quick down the floor for North Carolina. No Deja Kelly, obviously transferred out this year for North Carolina. Wanted more depth at point guard position. Richmond winning the regular season and conference titles, or tournament titles in the A-10. Offensive rebound keeps this possession alive for North Carolina. Where are they going to go? Gakdang! Last 3 possessions, 3 straight turnovers for Georgia Tech. This one could happen on a shot clock violation, and North Carolina does.
The excitement in Jen Hildreth's voice. That was a heck of a kick. That was impressive.
Kelly, you know that was only about a quarter of the volume that actually happened when that shot went in. Speaking of shots going in, watch out now because North Carolina's coming for you, Georgia Tech. Jackets led by as many as 23 with under a minute to go in the third quarter. Easy 2, though, for Zoe Smith.
North Carolina, miscommunication there. The way they were trapping, they did not have anybody back. And Zoe Smith's jumping up and down saying, give me the basketball.
And Georgia Tech needed that. And they turned it over their last 4 possessions. Had gone over 3 minutes without a basket.
North Carolina for clawing back and making this a game.
Gakdang has done the bulk of the work offensively. 18 points for the Tar Heels. She's calling for it again inside. Gakdang, 20 now!
Gakdang has put on a low block clinic this afternoon in Carmichael, and she's scoring over 6'6" Termis. She's making it look easy.
Nice move to the basket, and a tough 2 for Tonie.
Just when Georgia Tech needed a bucket, she gets past Townsend, able to elevate, take the contact from Gakdang. A great play by Tonie Morgan.
Morgan 3 for 3 from the line in the game, has 20 points, now 21.
They have done everything they can to not let Donarski get a look. That's exactly what you want to do, what Tonie Morgan just did there. Run her off the line. Contest it so much that she can't even get the shot off, and she's got to pass it. They have wins over Georgia, Oregon, and Mississippi State. But to come into Carmichael and put out this type of performance, obviously UNC can still get back in it, but this is against a very good team. This is a top 15 North Carolina team, and Georgia Tech has looked like the better team from the beginning.
Morgan Smith, another pass to Dunn, and a foul call.
The refs, they could have not called something there.
Dunn, meanwhile, that's her first point of the second half, but it's largely been Carnegie and Morgan getting the work done for the Jackets since then. Townsend pushing up the floor. Navarre playing with 4 fouls. Wants to go up and over Smith. Townsend came flying in.
And Donarski has not been able to do much at all in the second half offensively.
Donarski trying to come off the screen. Townsend. Navarre. 3 is good. In North Carolina, and you're thinking, get it to single digits. Now let's see what we can do. They were down 21 at the start of this quarter.
Wow.
Big bucket for Navarre. Last time down the floor. Kelly.
Try to make this game last as long as possible. That's what you want if you're North Carolina.
SEC, ACC challenge. In fact, both of these teams, North Carolina and Georgia Tech, won their matchups in that challenge. Georgia Tech beating Mississippi State. Kelly left one on the line there, so it stays double digits. 74-64, Georgia Tech with the lead. Here comes the trap and the pressure. Tar Heels get the turnover. Townsend on the break, all the way in for 2.
8 Georgia Tech turnovers in the second half. Can they continue to force turnovers and get back even more into this game?
Has that been the biggest difference, do you think, in North Carolina getting back in this fourth quarter?
Yes, I think it's been the defense. Now, the issue, though, when you press and apply pressure, if that team can break the press with the pass, they can get easy layups like Georgia Tech did there.
Smith taking advantage. Donarski goes inside. Gakdang is fouled.
Shot it well so far from the floor. But as great as Gakdang's been, you've got to look for the 3. You have to at this point. Only 45 seconds left in the whole game.
Clock. Carnegie just lost it. Stumbled a little bit, but she's still on the ground in some pain. On the other end, Navarre wasting no time is fouled. Navarre, this will be her first free throw attempts of the game. Will take any kind of friendly bounce. Navarre, 11 points. Really tough test to open ACC play.
And UNC with Gakdang on the ball, using her length.
Donarski hounding Morgan. 22 points now.
Been great from the free throw line. Just commanded this Georgia Tech team.
I'm not on the side of the Tar Heels, and ball just bounced off the foot of Townsend. Turns it over. Blackshear has played her part for Georgia Tech today. For the Demon Deacons in this one, that's 4 p.m. Eastern right here on ACCN after this game is over.
That's right, and Loyal McQueen played her freshman season at Georgia Tech, and we know Clemson and Georgia Tech will play twice in ACC play this season, so I'm sure they'll be watching each other.
And that is a rarity with the schedule and the new teams added to conference play this year. You're not going to get as many of those.
I'm very impressed. We thought they were for real with their non-conference. The fact that they're undefeated, big-time wins.
It's been a rough couple of years by Nell Fortner's standards. As we get into ACC play, Georgia Tech picked 10th in the preseason poll, looking like they could certainly challenge for much higher than that. NC State with a big win on the road at Louisville today. Navarre, well, that is likely too little too late, but 9.3 seconds remain. North Carolina and Navarre will foul.
Kelly and Navarre, those two have to build on their performances today.
Carnegie now 6 since halftime.
And that's her
Carolina
career high.
Timeout. Nell Fortner says, we just try to get better every day.
That's Nell's job. My job is to talk about the other stuff.
Yeah, you can do that. Donarski. Again, the Tar Heels finding the 3, but not until late in the game. And Georgia Tech's going to win this one, 82-76 the final score.